issues with putting the comments in. Okay, let me go live on my other platforms. You all are coming in. Hit the thumbs up. How does it work on Instagram? I'm not even quite sure. Fix this volume. How it works on Instagram. Hello. I put the hashtags in later on Instagram. And let me move this over some. As you all are coming in live on my YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well. And hit the thumbs up, the bell notification button. And let me inform my Instagram audience. I mean, not Instagram, sorry, my Facebook audience that I'm live. So give me a couple of seconds. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, YouTube, as you all are coming in. Really wasn't that hard. Really a lot easier than what I thought to share it on Facebook. So I did reactivate my Facebook only for this. Let me adjust this. Only for this reason. So Instagram can see a little better. It's because I forgotten that I had some paid subscriptions on there on my Facebook and closed groups, right? Let's keep buying this silver. I got you, YouTube. I really had forgotten that I was a part of this group that we discussed investing in, that I've invested in. And so we have our real estate meetings and things like that. And I was like, you know what? I better reactivate. I have decided that I'm not doing any live streaming on there. Just wasn't a lot of video participation when I live stream. So today I am trying Periscope. Can you hear me? On Periscope, I am trying something new. Not necessarily new, but let me skip this. I think my broadcast was interrupted on Periscope. Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me get back on Periscope. Not trying anything new. Annie, what do you mean? Drop that information. What do you mean on YouTube? About the silver investing or what to do here, where this economy is headed. Well, I'm not giving you financial advice, right? Gotta make that disclaimer, but I am sharing with you my thoughts on this from reading about recessions and studying things from a historical perspective. Hello, Gary. Hello. So let me put my glasses on so I don't have much of a glare, if it is a glare, and so I can read the comments. Let me fix my hair right there. All right, Annie Fisher, return on information. Return on information. So I'll be putting these on and off. It depends on if the glare is affecting my eyesight, but I'm pretty good right now. So, well, I decided to have Credit Church today. I felt a little bad about that because actually Credit Church was branded, and also my name, Queen of Credit, was branded off of Facebook, right? From my Facebook audience. And so I may still continue to live stream somewhat on Facebook, but for now, I'm just taking a break. From Facebook and trying to get a little bit more focused. So right now I'm just on YouTube, Instagram, and Periscope at the moment. And so let's have Credit Church today. And let's talk about, and Credit Church basically is a biblical perspective, right? It's a biblical perspective on, I think, the number one best-selling book and there is on prosperity, handling money and wealth is the Bible. And so in Matthew 25, you had the parable of 5 wise men and 5 people who were not wise, right? And they were entering, or they were taking a journey. And what was needed for their journey was oil to light their lamps, right? And we are entering, JP Morgan, for example, just came out with a statement that they believe, the company believes, that recession will come July. This full recession, right, will come July of this year. So my question is, are you recession ready, right? Are you preparing for a recession? Because I'm looking at the stats, and I'm looking at where this economy is headed. And if you know anything about economic recessions and resets, on average, they happen every 10 years and sometimes between every 4 and 5 years. What I mean by that, for example, is in 2008, we had the housing market crash, right? Beginning in 2008. So 2014, 6 years later, then you have the Ebola breakout. So these recessions are global economic resets that happen every 10 years and sometimes between 6 year time span. That will happen as well. So JP Morgan came out with the statement, or with the article or press release, that July of this year, 2020, that it is predicting or estimating a economic recession, or pretty much a global recession, right? So like Matthew 25, then the question is, how are you preparing beyond getting the essentials that you may feel like you may need in case the government does decide on I don't know who that is. It's All Fake News. Someone on Instagram says All Fake News. They don't have any worries. Actually, Instagram, I really do question a lot of things concerning the virus, or quote unquote virus, that they're stating, that's taking us into a recession faster than predicted, because we were already on pace anyway to enter into a recession. But now they're predicting a global depression, which is the difference. If you know the difference between a recession and global depression, I'll give you some examples. A depression is something defined as what happened for a decade, 25 years, beginning in 1930s. That was considered a depression. Afterwards, they wanted to change the names of these economic resets to recession, because they felt like depression was too depressing, right? And so now, for what we are entering to, whether you're in the United States or abroad, they are predicting, or they are saying, it's going to be a global depression. So should you be up to par? Should you be knowing what's going on for you, not just for your financial future, but moving forward, whatever state of being? I think you should. Because once the title moves from recession and they add it to a global depression, that's an entire new level. And so with JP Morgan coming out, or releasing the press release on yesterday, that they believe that the global depression will begin July, that gives you just a couple of months to prepare. April, May, June, really let's say 3 months to prepare if you are a person who has not been in preparation all the time. So with 3 months to prepare, then we also have, which I probably will do another live stream about and concerning, is the FICO 10 that's scheduled to be the same time or around the same time of this year, the end of the summer, the end of July. So you have JP Morgan, and I really believe that the reason why JP Morgan, just this YouTube, JP Morgan is predicting that the global depression will come at the end of July is because they know that the FICO 10 scores are going to drop consumers' credit scores even more, right? They know the FICO 10 score is going to drop. So you are adding in the health epidemic, which a lot of people do not realize the consequences of the 5G towers to power 5G Wi-Fi. And I just listened to CNBC 2018 𝒞𝓄𝓋e interview with the resident that was highly already fighting for her community not to have 5G tower because she understood that it causes cancer and the effects. And so when people are overlooking the 5G towers and labeling those virus type effects as coronavirus, then it really, really makes me, think and ponder, because you do know that the radioactive waves in 5G can give virus-like symptoms. And virus-like symptoms, as a result, can be transferred or spread. And then you add that we're already in allergy, flu season, a lot of pollen out here in Mississippi now. And, there are really consequences that people can get misdiagnosed for some things, just in my opinion, for something that could be caused by the 5G. So radioactive waves. And then it makes me wonder, may not make you wonder, that all of a sudden, we only have 3 faces to connect with the NBA, which are Black male, after there was a global, or not a global, but in the States, in the United States specifically, many African Americans and or Blacks were questioning if the radioactive 5G virus would affect us, because many, according to the descriptions of the people affected, did not seem to line up with African Americans. And so one of the biggest platforms that they know that African Americans follow, especially African American men, is the NBA. And now the only faces connected with this in the NBA are the African American or the Black players. But that's going into what I want this to go into. And then you have that with the FICO 10, right? You have this with the FICO 10. And so now you got credit. Now you have this health crisis. And now you have a credit crisis that's meeting up to clash, right? That's meeting up to clash. Hello, Gerald on YouTube. And Floyd, hello to you. Amy, hello to you on YouTube, and Gary as well, and Brian. And so you have all these clashes coming in, right? All these clashes coming in. And my thing to the Black and brown community is just don't be misdiagnosed, because if they ever come with a vaccine and you decide that you may want to partake of this vaccine, just know that in vaccines is an inclusion of the virus itself. So if it's radioactive, the melanin in your skin does give you some protection. Now, will you have some symptoms? Maybe, but I don't think that, they probably won't be as strong as other races. And so some people have asked me, well, we are human too. Yeah, we are, but our DNA is definitely a different makeup. It really is, right? Our DNA is a different makeup. So Rick said, just join. Thank you, Rick, for the digital love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is not a black-white thing. This is not a black-Asian thing. This is a melon type thing. Just like we are immune to malaria and we are humans. Do I think some of the sickness and signs can be from the radioactive waves? I do, but not as heavily. And you definitely don't want to get misdiagnosed for something that may be pneumonia, flu, or cold, or just allergies, right? And get a vaccine for something that can really give it to you at that point. That's just my message. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm definitely not a medical doctor. Just my belief, just my research, right? And if you don't believe it, that's fine. Everybody has a right to believe in what they want to believe in. Gerald said, yesterday I got a levy. Let's get our money now. Let's get our money off of health. Yesterday I got a levy and they took money out of my account. Now I know I'm going to stop messing with FRN. Gerald, what's FRN? On YouTube, what's FRN? Let me know what FRN. But in other way, as we are speaking about this quote unquote virus or the effects of radioactive waves from 5G, or maybe if you believe it's laboratory, one thing that I do know that China was stating was that they were definitely going to look at, well, China has already looked at gold-backed cryptocurrency, China, Russia as well, and more digitized money. So I watch a lot of financial channels, and they seem to believe for some reason that debit cards and credit cards and banks are safe in the States. But I think because we didn't look at the warnings of China, that when it got here, we were behind the 8 ball. So if China has already decided to have a crypto-backed currency, which is why they were accumulating so much physical gold, real gold, within the last 2 years, then usually what works for another economy, right? Because the United States more than likely will have to adapt to. So my question to people who think, well, first of all, just a wealth of information I want to share is that smaller banks do collapse during financial currencies. They do close, and people have lost money in the banking system, whether you're using credit cards or debit cards. So if China was stating that their yuan, they felt like, because it was printed paper, and they felt like that their yuan could carry this corona or whatever, corona cash, then how much longer do you think the printed dollar in the States will last? If they found out that this is a form of transporting the viruses, of handling paper money, a physical product that can transport this virus. So my backup plan is, and silver is on sale now. Silver is on sale now because whatever, let me fix this on YouTube. My camera doesn't seem to be straight. Give me a second, YouTube. Okay. All right, I think it's a little better. It doesn't seem to, okay, I think it's a little better. It seems a little crooked. But and so in the meantime, I think the banks will need a backup plan. I think blockchain and chain link technology. Some people know about Bitcoin and crypto, but they don't know about the blockchain and chain link technology and what smaller altcoins will need to push those will be in place. And always when the paper fails, silver and gold is always the commodity, right? That is the backup. It's the backup. And so that's why silver price is around $14, $15 right now temporarily. And I made this post, and let me find it, by Robert Kiyosaki. And let me see. Let me find it. It says, about why the prices of gold and silver just took a small pay cut. And I found it on Twitter, so let me pull that up. And while I'm finding that, Gerald, because he had a very, very, I thought, okay, here it is. On Twitter, why are gold and silver prices going down? There are several reasons. One is known as a short squeeze, right? Which occurs when someone needs cash quickly, so they sell most of their liquid assets, okay? He says, so the prices of gold and silver are going down because of something called a short squeeze, which occurs when someone needs to sell cash quickly. They sell most of their liquid assets, which may be gold or silver. And he said he also noted that they stopped buying gold and silver. He stopped buying gold and silver at $1,400 an ounce, but he may start buying it again. You go ahead, go. I'll be down there since you staying later. I ought to let people see your hair on my. Yeah, come on, put a shirt on there, let you guys see. And so what he's saying is that some people are cashing in that gold and silver right now when it was at the highest prices because they may need cash quickly. Now, why would they need cash quickly? You may be thinking, if cash is maybe the depreciating. Well, you never know. They may have some type of real estate deals that they want to invest in. Or you could say, hey, Kayla. Yeah, Afro. I feel like you twisted. I like it though. It's cute. Yep. And so for whatever reason, people might be needing cash to cash out because they might have some land and or real estate deals or other things that people are buying. They may be thinking the government is going to quarantine for 3-4 months. And they may want to convert that into groceries or convert that into travel and other locations that's away from all the drama of what we're experiencing in the United States. So that's why it's a temporary dip, because some other people who have bought it low in the previous years, silver and gold, needed cash quickly to convert it cash into something else that they needed, some other commodity. And I think one more federal government pump, right? And it's gold and silver prices and also those small altcoins have to increase because digital currency or digital exchange will have its place. Okay, Gerald on YouTube said Federal Reserve, no. Okay, you used it yesterday. Okay, so you got a levy and they took your money out your account. I understand. Rick says Friday, there was a lot of people pulling their money out of Chase and Wells Fargo. They closed early. Rick, I was one of those people here in Mississippi. I did move my money out of Chase and, not Chase, I'm sorry, out of my Wells Fargo account. Simply Wells Fargo because Wells Fargo does have a reputation of recessions and economic resets. Some people cash has been tied up, as well as they just was on a trial where they were creating false accounts, right? 3 years ago, they were found guilty, them and U.S. Bank as well. So their credibility is questioning right now of how they will handle this global depression that's estimated to be here in July. And so, if you do have cash and you have first your basics, right? Your basics, your water, your food supply in case that we are quarantined here. And then maybe that would be an option for you, right? Maybe that would be an option for you is to get silver. Now, my last quote, or not quote, subject of discussion is, should you invest, right? Should you invest if you have debt? Hello, Rick. Should you invest if you have debt? Let's look at the different scenario. If you have debt, for example, I consider debt and credit very differently. One of the things that I'm planning on doing actually this week is to finish or complete a book that I started on, biblical related, with the Second Kings widow woman as the parable example of the difference of understanding how the Bible teaches the difference between credit and debt, right? So in Second Kings, the widow woman goes to the prophet and she instructs him that her husband has died and has left the family in bad debt. Why do you know it was debt, right? Well, she said debt, and she said that the caretaker, well, the men that they were or in debt to or business to, were on their way to take her two sons away from her because she was unable to pay the debt. Well, the prophet then gave her instructions to go get credit, right? To go get credit. Why do I say that he told her to go get credit? Because he told her to go borrow, right? She used the terminology debt beginning of Second Kings. She said, my husband has died. He served. Now the creditors are coming to get my two sons because I owe them a debt that I cannot pay. Then the prophet instructed her to now go get credit. It's a difference, people, between credit and debt. Debt is anything that takes away from you, right? So whether you're watching this live or on a replay, I want you to put this in the message. Debt, DEBT, is anything that takes away. So you can put debt = away. Credit is anything that brings to. So you can put credit = to, right? Brings to you, TOO, brings to you. So she explained that because we are in debt, my sons will be taken away. And then the prophet goes on to tell her, okay, now go get credit, right? Go get credit. Matter of fact, whether you're watching this live in a replay, put this in the comment section. If you're not driving, if you're sitting, you don't have NBA to watch today, right? Go get credit. Go get credit. So what happened was this woman went borrowed. Credit is borrowing. Thank you for the digital love Periscope. She went, got credit, and she lived rich, right? Rich. It says she was able to pay off her debt and then live her life out from the rest. That means, right? Go get credit. Thank you so much. Jimmy said, does it take away from credit and adds to? Debt takes away from credit and credit. Thank you so much for that on YouTube. And so thank you for the digital love Periscope. So there is a great difference between credit and debt. The Bible tells you. How do I know? The Bible tells me so. And people don't understand that. So there are some people that's giving financial advice that's saying, hey, if you are in credit, then, during this recession, you need to get out of debt. I'm not saying I do not agree with that. But if your job, right, if your job overtime hours are taken away, a lot of people thrive off of overtime. If that overtime hours is taken away, If your hours are limited, some people have even lost their home. Lost their jobs due to this already. And some people just have temporary layoff. Where do you get the extra money to pay off your debt? Most people that are in debt were already living paycheck to paycheck anyway, right? So if you can position yourself to improve your credit while the banks are lending at their lowest interest rate, I'll be there about 30 minutes, okay? If the banks, Kayla, you bring me a cup of water before you leave. If the banks are lending their money and the feds have cut rates at the lowest interest, and I just made a video yesterday about 0% interest rates balance transfers, then that's a way for you to use credit to get out of your debt. So if you have background knowledge of what you're investing in, whether it's altcoins, whether it's silver, if you don't know about silver, don't know what to exactly get. Anyone can invest in silver now at $14, $15 an ounce. Because once the dollar depreciates in values, the silver and gold, which is also biblical, silver and gold will also increase in pricing, right? Physical silver and gold. Okay. So physical silver and gold will also increase in pricing. So that's very affordable at $14, $15 an ounce. And a lot of people use credit cards, just like they would a debit card, to purchase physical assets. They use money created out of thin air, out of nothing, to convert in something physical. And that's what the Second King story tells you, is that the prophet, I'm not saying I'm a prophetess or whatever, but I'm just telling you how it was done biblically, how the Bible during recession survived, and advice that the Bible gives to get you out of debt, right? So if you don't understand anything about altcoins and digital money, I would suggest you go to YouTube. A lot of good people you can study on YouTube about that topic. But I would suggest right now, people, before the FICO 10 changes come this summer, which is the end of July, that you get your credit on point. You get your credit score up. You find some low interest rates cards to invest in physical assets. The only thing you have to understand about silver at $14, $15 an ounce is what type of silver you want to invest in. And so I have a silver stacking report for that as well. So now the second thing that was brought out was that this woman invested in a business, right? I want you all to put that in. My first thing to get ready for this recession was to get your credit, because she already had to have a creditable name to borrow from her neighbors. Just imagine you're living in a neighborhood. Your neighbors know if your spouse died. They know if you've been through a divorce. So they're not going to let you borrow something you're missing an income unless they know you are a creditable person. So they were aware, I'm sure, of her financial situation and her spouse situation, her husband's situation. But yet she had a creditable name and she was still yet able to borrow. So get your credit in position. Then she invested in a business. Now, I said silver first because silver is at $14, $15 an ounce. I don't know how long that price will last, but I told you, according to 𝒞𝓄𝓃𝓃𝓃e, why it took a couple of dollars down. What business should you all invest in? Is that something you want to know? Rick said, can you buy a home for $40,000 in Mississippi? I mean, that's not you can. I mean, you got two bedroom condos now for Mississippi going at 80,000. I mean, it depends on what part of Mississippi you want to live in. If you want to live in the west side or the south side of the not so good areas, then yeah, you can find a home for $40,000 here. I don't know what condition it'll be in, but you definitely can. I'm pretty sure the next couple of months you can probably find better homes, 2-3 bedrooms for $40,000 that may have been foreclosed on or bankrupt here in the better parts of Mississippi. Yeah, I'm sure you can. Okay, some people say real estate business. Thank you, Yvonne Green. You should invest in a credit repair business. You should invest in a credit repair business. And I have a credit repair partnership business that people can invest in for a one-time investment, one time of $249. You can work from home. You don't know what our work from home situation may be in the upcoming weeks. We don't know what the government may, have coming down the pipeline. But you do know that in July, 40 million Americans' credit score is either going to drop 20 to 40 points due to FICO 10, or it's going to increase. But let me tell you why I believe it's going to be more drops than increase, right? It's because the whole purpose of, or the whole logic behind the FICO 10 was that more Americans' credit score was at the 700 range, the highest it had been in years. And FICO accredited it to people adding temporary AU trade lines on their credit reports, as well as people doing, quote unquote, 20, 30-day credit sweeps. And these people would appear for 20 to maybe 30 days to have high credit scores and get approved for maybe a vehicle, for example. And then months later, the banks would have to repossess the vehicle because this person was not qualified in the first place. They just appeared that way for 30 or 60 days. So the banks said, you know what? We are going to stop looking at a 30-day snapshot of people's credit, and we are taking losses because 3 months, 4 months, we have to go back and repossess the vehicle because they were not credit worthy. And with us entering a global depression, we are not going to be at risk at lending and then losing our money. That's why now vehicle repo is the highest it's ever been in years. I think it said, I know automobile repo and student loan debt is higher than credit card debt right now in America. So banks are saying we're not going to enter into a global depression and take hard hits for creditable people. So we're going to change the game, and we're going to look at a 2-year snapshot of these people's credit history now. So if they try to get a 20-day credit day sweep or 5-day credit day sweep, and what a credit sweep is that the credit agencies, if you are stating you are a victim of identity theft, will temporarily block the negative items that you are claiming that are a result of identity theft until they do their thorough investigation. And usually after 30 days, they've done a thorough investigation, 30 to 45 days, and they find out that, hey, this person was not this credit card account was not, this charge off was not a result of identity theft. This repo reporting was not a result of identity theft. This collection was not a result of identity theft. And so what they do is they add those negative items back on the account. And you also are putting yourself and or the person who reported that at risk, right, for federal fines and or jail time. Yeah, if you file false identity theft report, right? So that's changing come end of July. So JP Morgan is predicting a global depression by the end of July. So you would definitely want to be in the credit repair business, because once these 20 or 40 point score decreases, people will need credit restoration just to get housing, just to get approved to get in a lease or a rental agreement, right? They're not going to be trying to get a vehicle at this time. They're just going to try to get housing, because what if they lose their housing, if they lose their financial situation change? And now rent is scarcity, right? And everyone wants to rent to creditable tenants during this time. So credit restoration is going to be big. And also, did you all know this? Did you know that credit unions are known to lend, right, more than banks during recessions or depressions, whichever one. So don't get a myth that, well, hey, the banks won't lend me money anyway. Credit unions will. Credit unions will. Historically, they've been known to lend more or better than banks during recession, because credit unions operate differently than banks. And, you know, on a side note, you need to also be a member of a good credit union. I'm a member of two, Navy Federal and Penn Fed. So if you have family members that are members, right, try to use their membership to get to be a part of a good credit union. Brian, and Brian, that's true. On YouTube, you will have people that will be like, look, I'm going to invest in real estate, and I'm going to need people with good credit. And so I want them to have good credit, because I don't want to look at credit profiles and I'm getting many people that have been affected of the 40 million Americans' credit score drop due to FICO 10. Now that's called cherry picking. So credit repair would be a big, big thing, even beginning in July, beginning with the FICO 10 all the way for the next 2 or 3 years, because this will be ongoing, people. This will be ongoing. The adaptation to FICO 10 is going to be big. So you definitely want to invest in that for $249 one-time payment. And also to increase your cash flow as well, people, because if you are forced to work from home, you're going to need the residual income from this business. I'm not getting a whole lot of rentals right now, simply because I know that because of this virus, that you can't evict people at this time. There are some states that are saying you can't evict, this is a national emergency. So for me, it's going to be the silver, which is is not an investment that's a high risk, right? And also credit is my main two. And for you all, it would be to definitely credit repair business for $249, because even with real estate, you don't want to have tenants in your home that you as a landlord cannot legally evict, because we are under a national emergency. And with real estate, I honestly will wait till after July, because foreclosures in that real estate market would be even higher. And if you're investing in real estate right now, you're going to buy on the high end. If you wait till after July, you're probably going to find some better deals on the low end. To get those, right? Because you want to buy your rentals and things when it's already full bubble, because you can't really depend on renting too much during a recession or global depression, right? Because number one, they're saying it's a virus. You can't evict people. They don't want people out on the streets. And number two, people are going to have so many cash flow and credit changes. You don't know who will be creditable, and you don't know who will even have the jobs to pay you. So you want to start stacking your money now, and you want to have your money in things now that's going to bring you capital gains. And for right now, for $14 or $15 a month, an ounce, you definitely need to get my silver stacking report. Let me try to type this. If you want that silver stacking report, send me an email. I'm typing my email address in on Periscope. It's LD and the @ symbol at Fix My Credit and Cash.com. So any questions, and then I'm signing off. Cash.com. Altcoins, that crypto game, I don't really give a lot of financial advice about that. I'm still in the learning process myself, but definitely some smaller altcoins that I have been watching or that I have been educating myself about, some of the smaller altcoins, that in the event that the dollar fails. Just look at the size of the dollar right now. You already know that Saudi Arabia is in a trade war with Russia. So, once you have the petrodollar or that oil backing removed from the dollar, then that's another depreciating asset to the dollar. Oh, Yvonne, thank you. You're a sweetheart. She had the silver investing report. She's already put my Cash App on there. It's for a low investment of $25 with that. And thank you so much. She put everything. Yvonne, thank you so much. Thank you so much. On YouTube, include your email address and receipt, because with Cash App, I wouldn't have your email address. And what I'm actually working on that silver stacking report is to make it in PDF format and include it on my website, www.fixmycreditandcash.com. That way you can download it and pay for it on the website, but it's not here yet. So I'm still using the dinosaurs method. Also, visit my website. Instagram is in my bio link. So Periscope, I'm typing in. If you need help with your credit, if you need to get your credit fixed for the crash, then you can get a credit audit. The credit audit gives a detailed analysis of what exactly is showing on all three credit reports. It provides my quote for my consultation services, and it allows me a snapshot to look at what's reporting, so I can give you accurate advice on what your possible timeline to get those negative accounts deleted. And what I mean by that, people, is I can't give you an accurate timeline of how long I think it will be to fix your credit until I see your credit, to see what accounts are reporting and how they are reporting. It's It's 3 reasons, or 3 under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It's 3 reasons why an account can be deleted. Number 1, if it's reporting inaccurately. Number 2, if it's reporting incomplete. Or number 3, if it's unverifiable or unverified, right? So by looking at your credit report and looking at the report that I use, right? Rick said the program is very cheap. Thank you. Welcome. You are definitely get that silver stacking report today, because silver dropped from $18, $19 an ounce to $14 to $15. right? And so, like I said, Robert Kiyosaki is a short squeeze, where people that had silver and gold, which are the rich and wealthy, they wanted to cash out, get their gains on it, because I'm pretty sure that they are converting that cash into, they're probably getting real estate investments, and not like bankruptcy homes, like what the middle class is doing. When the rich and wealthy get real estate investments, they're probably getting land to build apartments and condos and things of that nature on. They're getting six-figure real estate investment deals. And so they probably want to cash out for those purposes and those purposes only of their silver and gold. Or you never know, they might be cashing out so the prices can drop, so they can come in and buy silver and gold at a lower rate. Because those are things that the rich and wealthy do as well. They cash out, they get their capital gains out their silver and gold that they bought years ago, right? Inexpensive, because they know that that will cause a temporary price drop, and they will go rebuy it at the price drop after getting their profits out of it. And then after doing that, they will wait until the Federal Reserve makes another pump of cash money into the markets that would drive the prices of silver and gold up again. It's insider tips that what the rich and wealthy do. So yeah, I'm signing off. I may plan on going back live again. I'm not sure, to let you know about FICO 10 and debt, and how it's going to change credit cards approval and credit card limits. So if you are a person who are watching me now, and you are under a 680 or credit score, you definitely want to look at getting your credit restored. You definitely want to look at that. So one of my lightings went out. It's time for me to get off. I gave you all my information. If I don't go live again tonight, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. IG, Periscope as always. Thanks for tuning in as well. IG, I will try to be live more often as I have. And okay, gonna say, I think I got one more question. Oh, thank you, Rick. You are more than welcome. You're more than welcome, Rick. No more questions on YouTube. I enjoyed you all participating also. So I got my email address in there, LD@FICOmyCreditCanCash.com if you want your credit audit. Let me put this in. This is my website. And this is the Queen of Credit, wishing you peace and prosperity, better credit and cash flow. Queen of Credit out. Y'all have a great Sunday.